Welcome to Keep Your Torch Lit podcast, everybody. This is
Hello.
Sam coming at you live.
Oh my gosh. This is Sarah, also coming at you live.
And this is Jack. I actually recorded my part 2 hours earlier, so this is not live.
So we actually have to time it so that like he gave us like a script, so we have to like time it so that he responds exactly to what we're saying.
Oh my gosh, thanks, Sarah. I'm glad you like my shirt.
Okay. That was good.
But seriously, this is an episode that probably I've been waiting to record for Keep Your Torch Lit since literally the votes were cast, since the votes were read.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm just like so excited to talk about this. I don't even know where to begin. Just like this was probably, at least up to this point, the most fun I ever had playing Survivor.
I remember, so I was still in Chicago at that time, and we were actually filming a KYTL episode the night it happened, and it had to be delayed because of like you were talking to Ben or something, and then you got on the phone, and you're like, oh my god, that was like so crazy. Like I remember that day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, yeah, because I think you actually see that video in the episode of, we were going to record, and then I think Sam was recording me on the phone with like either Megan or Camille, I forgot who, and I'm like, I guess I have to go talk with them. Something weird's going on. Yeah. I think that was the night before travel, but yeah.
Yeah, I wish I remember. I specifically remember, there's, if you've listened back to KYTL season 1, there's one of those early episodes that has like a awkward gap where we like had recorded half of it and just like did the other half like the next day because like Jack has had to leave. So yeah, it's funny. It's funny that we're getting to the point where like, I know it's like meta. We have the meta thing of season 1 airing during season 4, and now it's the KYTL where like we were also doing KYTL. We're talking about KYTL recording during KYTL.
It hurts my brain.
Hurts your brain.
All right, so before we get into it, though, the episode starts with Adam being gone. That seems like a lifetime ago already. And Ben was like, not the gay one. And Cooper like had the most awkward laugh, and he was like, yes.
Honestly, I do want to say Cooper, I'm loving season 4 host Cooper so much.
Really?
Like, this is the
What's
best.
The difference?
I just feel like he's just the most relaxed and confident version of Cooper that I've seen as a host in like all the seasons. Like, I feel like you can tell that he's starting to like kind of have a little back and forth with like Tokidoki, like the last tribal, where like Kat's giving him shit and he's just kind of like giving it right back. Like, I feel like this Cooper's cracking jokes. Like, I don't know. I just feel like this is the best version of Cooper as hosts of the 3 seasons.
Do we think that he's grown into his body?
Definitely. He's definitely grown into his body.
Wow, that is such a deep
reference.
Such a I love that.
Deep
I love that
right
so
there.
much. That's such a deep pull right there. Well, just like we're laughing, smiling right now, Jackson had such a big grin when Adam was voted off.
I feel like Jackson's always
smile.
You know what? Like how Megan's always smiling? Jackson's always grinning. Like, when is he not grinning in his confessionals?
Yeah, it's a very different smile though.
It's different.
Yeah, it's a snarky. It's I know I'm the shit. I'm talking crap, but I can back it up. You know what I'm doing. Whereas Megan, it's more of just like, I'm just really happy to be here. I'm having a lot of fun.
What's that impression?
I don't know where that really came from, but.
We have like an evil smile on one end and like an innocent smile on the other, but I can see that's interesting that you point that out, because I can see how that would be the ship right there, the smile relationship.
Smilers,
smile ship.
They were definitely smiling like a lot at each other in this episode. I'll say that.
with the showman's music playing in the background.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's nothing like a good old fashioned Survivor Michigan showmance.
Okay, so like I did. What do you guys think about this showman? It's like it's the most unexpected pairing of people I could have. If you would have picked any two people in this cast and been like, "Oh, showmans,"
I feel like the only thing they have in common is that they're both like grad students.
yeah,
And they yes.
and they both smile.
That's about it.
I mean, think of how many grad students are smiling on a daily basis, though. Probably not very many.
That's true.
So you know,
Dale
hard.
Dale doesn't smile as much.
It's true. Only when he found his idol, and you know, I'm sure he's had some other things.
Was he even smiling? I feel it was just like, "Let's fucking go!"
Yeah.
That's true.
Like, that's not really a smile. That's. I mean, he's happy for sure. It's joyful, but I don't know if he was actually like smiling during it.
I mean, look, when you're 40 years old and you have a wife, I mean, you have the stresses of bills to worry about, retirement. There's less things to smile.
Yeah, he's like almost retired.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's putting his kids through college. You know, having to pay for that.
It's more
gonna wipe the smile off your face.
Oh. Okay, Jack, what was this whole thing that you did before the challenge? What was going on there?
I don't know. It's probably the most I've cringed at myself watching Survivor Michigan back. I really did not want to go down another person against Tokidoki because I really thought that a swap was going to be coming up. So I was just like, I need to get as pumped as I possibly can. So I'm going to put on like my favorite pump up band, high energy band, Death Grips. If you're an eagle eye watcher of Survivor Michigan, you'll notice I did wear a few Death Grips hoodies, I think, in season 2. So definitely a big fan of the band. And, you know, I just thought that listening to it on camera would get me really pumped up to win the challenge. And it did not work at all, obviously. But, you know, might as well try, give it a shot.
What do you think, like, do you think you guys lost because they had the extra person? Do you think, like, that's pretty much why?
They beat us by a lot. I don't know.
Okay.
It was like, what was it, 18 or 12 pounds? Something like that.
Yeah.
That's true. They just have bigger mouths.
How many pounds? The question is how many pounds?
Smashing.
How many pounds of melon did Erik Reichenbach
contribute?
Mm-hmm. I feel like Dale contributed like half of it.
Okay, but I don't get the smashing. So is the point of the smashing that you could like pick up the rind, like get the rind as well? What's the point of smashing it?
Yeah, I can't remember the exact rules of it. I don't know if they went into detail of the rules in the episode, but wasn't it like you couldn't like take the full thing, obviously, like with your teeth and drop it in, but if you like were able to break it up, you could put in parts of the rind.
Chunks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I love how Erik was like, Dale is crazy. He's crazy. he's just smashing his head on the watermelons, and I know that guy's crazy.
Yeah. And I really thought that we had that reward challenge to win Erik. I was so pumped up to meet Erik. Like it was kind of funny seeing the episode. Like it was very much 50-50 of people being like, I don't give a shit who this like dude is who's coming in.
Yeah, Nate was like, I don't know who that is. He's just
Jackson's like, Erik lost Survivor twice. That means you suck at the game. I don't want this guy in my tribe. I'm just gonna not even send anything out to law school because Erik is not good at Survivor.
No, I feel like Jackson actually like did a lot though. I feel like he put on like a big front, but didn't he actually like reach out to a ton of people?
Like he told his tribe that he reached out to the whole law school, but he didn't do. But I'm sure he did a lot of like.
Maybe he did.
Things.
Maybe he's like the kind of person who's gonna like kind of like go to the cameras, pretend like, oh, I'm too good.
I'm too cool. But he secretly emailed them all individually and like bought and like sent them cookies.
I mean, Jackson has this. I'm 5-0 in immunity challenges. He doesn't want to lose. You know, he doesn't even want that one, even if it's a reward challenge. He
keeps talking about how he sat out on that one. He's like, and that one we lost, I was sitting out.
Yeah, we would have won if I hadn't sat out. Just FYI. So I'm not going to count that loss.
And I was going to say, Erik was helpful, but I think his dog would have been more helpful.
That's true.
Because, you know, Honestly, that dog is such a mood. Like, the dog was one of my favorite characters of this episode. Because he was literally just chilling so hard.
Yeah, the real question is who's most likely to win season 4, Eric's dog or Nate's friend Matt?
They would definitely be like a duo to the end.
That's tough. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like dogs gotta eat. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Dogs got to eat.
Dog
True.
for sure. But Matt would definitely give him a run for him or her. Do we know?
The dog? I don't know. If you look back in the episode, you could probably figure it out.
He's just sitting like.
yeah. If you're a vet, you can probably figure it out. Yeah.
Wait, fun fact: wasn't there more than one dog?
Yeah. So I went to his house. So me and Cooper.
Can you please talk about this?
Yeah. So me and Cooper went to Eric's house to film the confessional. Eric lives, like he said, right down the street in Ann Arbor, and I was so excited because I was like, I'm such a big fan. Like, I was like, I need to make sure I get to like go to his house to do this confessional. So yeah, we got there. We got to like meet his dog. He has 2 dogs. One of his dogs stole my shoe and started like running around with it. And Eric was like, "Oh yeah, that's fine. Like he does that sometimes." And I was like, "Okay."
And they're the same type of dog, right? They like look the same.
Yes. They're 2 golden retrievers. They're like they're being pretty rambunctious and kind of like running around and like stealing shoes. So then Eric kind of just like grabbed them and like kind of just like locked them next to him on the couch so they couldn't move. And then eventually like one of them just like fell asleep there, and the other one, I don't remember what it did, but I think that Eric like forcibly made his dog calm down on the couch with him, and then just like sat there for the rest of the confessional. So
it was very zen.
Very
super zened out.
I remember specifically, I was like, I'm going to ask Eric about his beef with Jack because I know this will make the episode like 2 years from now.
Yeah, Jack, you made yourself an enemy. How do you feel about making an enemy from someone who's played with like Parvati, with Sandra, with Russell Hantz? How do you feel about this?
See,
by the way, he probably went to the group me and was all like, guys, if we ever play with this guy Jack, watch out for them. And so everyone in CBS Survivor knows about you now, probably.
That's true. Well, then that's I would be honored for Parvati to hate me. If Parvati hates me, if I exist as a part of Parvati's mind, then I will die happy. Like that would be insane to me.
I'm pretty sure Noah hate me. I'm pretty sure Noah already told Parvati about you voting him off first. And she already
he's their best friends. Yeah.
So now she has like double beef with you, Jack.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Both Eric and Noah are both going to Parvati. Like this kid Jack tickled me. Like you don't trust him.
The whole Noah thing is so funny.
For reference, people who are listening to
joke
this.
That like.
Yeah. We should probably explain what we're talking about.
This is another deep pull this episode.
Noah from season 2, who was the first boot in our season, had met Parvati.
He had really bad knees, if you don't remember.
Yeah.
You don't remember him, Sarah? Like he's the guy with the knees.
Yeah, with the knees. He has like 4 injuries.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I just feel like I know it's the most overused, overplayed joke when talking about Erik Reichenbach, but I just saw it just dangling there, that fruit, that super low-hanging fruit, so low-hanging it's touching the ground. I had to go for that joke. Tell him to give us immunity, It wasn't to impress a girl, as Ariat said. I just kind of have to do it.
Maybe he's trying to impress a girl or something. I don't know.
That actually sounds like him.
Yeah, that's a good impression.
I'd also like to mention that I'm freakishly good at biting chunks out of fruit.
That's so random.
Yeah.
I feel like him and Will would get along.
That's funny. I mean, Will was the one that made him. Will is the one that made him eat all that watermelon, though. So maybe he has a little bit of beef with Will too, because Will design this challenge basically.
Well, he said he liked fruit, so.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's true. He was freakishly good at it, from what I've heard.
Oh, I want to point out a Ben quote that happened around this time about you, Jack. He said he's a gamer, but also likes to socialize with people, and I thought that was funny. It's like kind of an insult, but then like also kind of a compliment.
Yeah, backhand compliment. We take those.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of like little Jack character moments that we didn't see in season 2, like where you're doing like the death grips, and you're talking about your craft beer addiction, like all this
addiction.
all
Whoa, slow down there, buddy.
I just recently got into craft beer.
Into craft beer. Just casually into it, Sam.
Pulls it out. Is that an Oberon?
Oh yeah, it's craft beer. Oh, Bell's is craft beer.
That's great.
It's basic craft.
It's Oberon time, baby.
It is.
It's April. Oberon time.
Yes, sir.
Doc's got to eat.
Yeah, I do feel like I feel like Ben talked a lot about, he's trying to be the real Ben this season in his confessionals and stuff like that. I feel like I almost was like, I was probably too boring in season 2. I was just really obsessed with trying to play as well as I could. And I'm going to try to be a little more entertaining in confessionals and stuff instead of just dryly explaining what I did. So, yeah. So it's definitely a little more fake and played up. Definitely opposite of Ben, but you know what? I had fun. I cringe at myself with the death grips part, but
I think you would name the video like pre-challenge hypers.
Yeah, something like that.
So funny.
Oh God.
So you guys lose the challenge, and Nate is driving people home, right? And then Camila all of a sudden decides she wants to go to the Ugly, but she doesn't have her backpack or anything. This is probably one of my favorite Nate moments so far, is that he follows her into the library to be like, what is she up to? I just think that's so funny.
Yeah. But this is actually probably what caused the whole episode to change. It
was crucial. He's like,
literally,
I followed her in there, and she's meeting with Jack. Wait, who else was there?
It was the
Katie?
Breakfast Club. It was me, Ben, Katie.
And Ben. Yeah. I you just see, it's like one of those scenes in the movie where like the camera pans to you guys, and then Nate's just like hiding there, like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. How exactly did he figure out that it was us 3 there? That it was us 4 there.
He was hiding behind some books.
Yeah,
I honestly have no idea, because the footage is of you guys in Metal Frat, and then like I kind of like there's kind of this thing where it like zooms in on the window and make it look like Nate was like peering through the window.
It's just
but I'm on like the second floor. Like unless he had like a ladder. Or something.
I think that was definitely just there for dramatic effects.
Yeah,
like. I don't know how I still like I watched a lot of the footage because I actually did the rough cut for this episode. Like also I want to give a shout out to Mason Marks. I feel like an idiot because I just totally forgot his last name.
Mark Scores.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Mason Mark Scores.
Yeah.
He's producer right now for Survivor Michigan. He edited this is his first ever episode that he storyboarded, and this is the first ever episode that I did a rough cut for.
Oh, nice.
So we both kind of like got to experiment a little bit in this one. And then Ian obviously did like the polished final cut of it. But that was one of the things. I watched a lot of this footage, and I still to this day don't really fully understand how Nate found out that you 4. He definitely did follow Camila. But
okay,
like,
I have a question about that though. How did he follow? So if he was driving a car and he dropped her off, he must have had to like park somewhere real fast to be able to follow her in.
Or how did he follow her on the car? Yeah, I don't know.
Megan was driving.
Oh,
and then she dropped off Nate and Camila together because Nate lived near the Ugly, and that's where Camila was going. And then she didn't go to the Ugly or something. I don't know exactly, but he ended up finding out that you 4 had met without him, basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, did he like wait outside or something until like people left? I don't know.
It's a question we'll have to ask Nate. We will. We have a lot of add it to the list of things to ask Nate one day. Nate is he's elusive. He has so many secrets.
It's so funny. Nate rolls his eyes in every confessional. He's just constantly like perpetual eye roll. Why does everyone have like a perpetual face on this season? For Nate, is an eye roll.
For Megan is the smile. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What's my face?
Yours is. Well, yeah. What's Jack's?
I think that Jack's face is like freaking out to death grips.
Yeah.
I think that Dale's face is, kind of that kind of that frown that you get when you hit about 45 years old.
Yeah.
Dogs got to eat. Can we talk about dogs got to eat?
I think we just have to tell people to look out for dogs got to eat. Just kind of like put a pin.
Did he say dogs got to eat?
Yeah, he said he said something about like I'm a big melon guy. I love melons. You know, sometimes the dog's got to eat, and the big dog ate all that melon.
Was that like a metaphor? I feel like Dale talks in metaphors a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like, see, him and Tom would have definitely gotten together then.
I would have loved to see Dale and Tom play together.
That would be a power duo right there.
I mean, Tom and Dale, that kind of sounds like a duo like you would see in a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Tom and Dale. It's like Chip and Dale, Tom and Jerry. Like, like crossover.
You know that Dale was named after Dale from Chip and Dale?
Oh, yeah. So Dale was the one born in Disney, and that's why he's named Dale after Chip and Dale. Yeah.
He's something else. Dale and Tom, that's the TV show crossover we absolutely need.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely Tom and Dale.
Tom and Dale. You're right.
Tom and Dale.
So like instead of Chip and Dale and Tom and Jerry,
exactly,
it's Tom and Dale.
Yeah.
I see it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dale and his antics, I love how Dale was like, "Oh, me and Jackson want this grad school alliance, but I got Jackson to like go and do the dirty work for me and like have him talk to Megan, and I'm just not going to go."
Oh yeah. Dale's like the manager that Mitch always wanted to be.
The manager.
Yeah.
He just like tells his
little people that I was gonna say, who's the better matchmaker, Dale or Camila?
Matchmaker.
Because Dale says, "Oh, let's have this 3-person alliance, except for I'm not going to go. So Jackson, you go hang out with Megan." But then Camila's like, "Megan, I want you to date Jackson." So it's you got both of them on both sides, kind of pushing them together. Who's the true matchmaker?
It's meant to be, I guess.
I mean, Dale's already found his match.
Mm-hmm.
So
so he knows what to look for. Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah,
I think Camila's match is with herself.
She says she's the hottest one, so I guess she would pick herself to be the match, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think Jackson's the hottest, but I'm gonna go ahead and say myself as the hottest. I would say myself.
It was wearing it wasn't even like a joke. Like, I would say myself.
It was just fully,
That's so funny.
That was so funny.
I mean, that's confidence. That's all you need, really. Believe in yourself. If you don't think you're the hottest person on Survivor, then what are you doing?
Yeah.
I always thought I was the hottest person on Survivor.
Well, that's awkward because I thought I was the hottest.
Whoa.
What about you, Sam?
I thought Cooper was the hottest. That's awkward too. I think if Cooper heard that, he would say, "Okay, moving on." just like he did this episode.
All right. But so I think it might actually be time to start digging into the meat of this episode,
Yeah.
Where the fun really starts to happen. So we kind of started to talk about it a little bit already. I think the sparks of it started to go when Nate realized that us 4 were meeting without him knowing, and none of them telling him that. So that's kind of set wheels in motion for Nate to realize that he's on the bottom here, and realizing that he has a very high likelihood of being voted out. So he started to he wasn't going to go down without a fight. So yeah, I think so. He's so in this beautiful shot of him, Ben, and Matt, who is not Matt Cubisco, but just a random ass person.
It's funny because friends really do get looped up in this without their consent.
I find it funny because usually when people have like their friends in the video, they might be like in the background. You can hear them kind of filming it. But he's just like he's right there,
front and center.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, my friends still remember. My friends still remember like everything about my season.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
For sure.
But
go kind of reminded me of Matthew Israel too. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it was Matthew disguised.
He was in disguise.
Whoa.
That is
Matthew
another
in
level of
disguise.
amateur homicide detective. You know, to be a full detective, you have to go undercover. You know?
Okay, but he didn't do a great job because he didn't change his name and he still kind of looked the same.
But he changed it.
No, but that's why he was he wanted to make sure Cooper to know that he's not Matt. When he called him Matt at Tribal Council, it's because he's like, that's my code name. You know, don't go blowing my spot here, Cooper. I'm Matthew. Matt,
that's why you're so touchy.
Matt is another person. Matt is completely other person. Okay?
And you know what? Matt. With all the jumping and timelines around here, in 2 weeks we're gonna get a flashback to Matt being like, I was sitting in on this meeting.
That's so
that's a lion. The lion undercover as a lamb. but anyways, so in this conversation right here, Nate spills this juicy information that he has from Megan, that she gave the clue to me and Camila, and that we all looked for the idol together. And Ben is just he's shocked because he really thought that we had this going of me, him, Katie, and Camila, the Breakfast Club alliance, and this just completely shook him to his core and kind of completely changed what was going to be happening this week.
Yeah.
And
that can't be fun to hear. That's like hearing that your closest friends hung out with these other people and didn't invite you.
Exactly.
It's betrayal.
Honestly though, thinking about how at the beginning of this episode, how the Breakfast Club alliance, you guys are so tight and you're like, oh, we should have a sleepover. Sleepover. And then Ben had this whole thing where he's like, I trust Jack pretty much the most, and how he had this whole game built around loyalty. I understand how he felt so betrayed because he had just completely changed his season 3 game into I'm just going to be completely loyal this time. To my knowledge, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, he hadn't really held back any major details or lied about anything to you or Camila, really. I guess he had maybe a tighter thing with Katie than he was publicly letting on, but it seems like he pretty much had given everything to your alliance. So I can see how he would feel really betrayed by hearing you and Camila have been playing both sides.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I really don't blame him. That's a tough thing to hear. And I feel like I probably, a lot of the blame definitely falls on me. I don't think I played this super correctly. And I was very close at this point to going home, very, very easily. A lot of things had to go right for me to stay this week. I feel like really kind of what happened is that I really was just so sketched out about the idol and just was so concerned about him having the idol and him lying to me about not having the idol. And, I just really didn't think that there was, because I had looked for the idol a good amount by that point. And then also having that clue that went with Megan basically directly to where the idol was supposed to be. I really just, I didn't think there was a high chance that Tokidoki had it. Anybody in Tokidoki would have found it. Obviously, completely wrong. But I just really started to not trust Ben for really no reason of his own. And so I just started, I was just like, okay, I really, I'm going to really start playing up both sides. I already kind of was playing both sides, of course, but I was just like, okay, I feel like if I had the idol, or if I knew that Ben had the idol, if he had told me that he had the idol, he had found the idol, but he didn't, or if somehow Eliza had told me that she had, but basically if I knew about the idol, I think I would have been a lot more comfortable still being with Ben. But that was just such a big red flag to me, which I overreacted to, I guess. I don't know. Sorry, I'm already feel like I'm going to be able to talk so much this episode about.
No, but you're the one playing, so.
Yeah. I can see how that would be concerning too, because if you think about it from your perspective, you just went to the place where it seems like the idol is and it's not there. You're like, okay, Ben probably has it. If you then go to Ben and tell him, oh, I got the clue from Megan, and he knows that, he would then, from your perspective, Ben would know that he has the idol.
Right.
And then like you wouldn't want him to know that you knew that, which is all this like this. I can see how, which obviously Ben didn't have the idol, so like he wouldn't have cared. He would have told, if you would have told him, he wouldn't be like, okay, whatever, I couldn't find it either. But like from your perspective, if he had it, like if somebody has the idol, you don't want to tell them, oh, I just searched for the idol and I didn't find it in the exact spot that it should have been in. Like that's obviously like something that can lead to like mistrust. So like I can see why you wouldn't want to tell him if you thought that he had it.
Yeah, exactly. And like I was just, and it's just like the reason why I thought so, I was so sure that he had it was just basically like the other candidates. Camila 100% would have told me, because like I really just feel like we were super close at that point. And Megan, like I didn't think that she would have it in her to like do this like 100 IQ play of like finding it and then bring us to the exact spot and being like, oh wait, it's not here. What, like that didn't seem like it. Katie didn't strike me as the type of person who would go out and find it, like put in a ton of time looking for the idol. I could have been wrong, but like, so, and just I knew Ben had found an idol before in the last season. And it
he had the clue.
Yeah, he had the clue. Like he could have like looked for it himself before he sent it to us. The Tom episode. Yeah, there's just like so many signs that are pointing me towards Ben having it. Yeah.
Which if Eliza had not found it there, you would have had it instead, and then you definitely wouldn't have mistrusted Ben.
This episode, I mean, everything changes so much. If I found that idol, it's I don't even know where to start talking about it, because like,
would you have played it this week?
Well, because
yourself,
I mean, you have to get into like super like deep into it, because like if I already had it, I probably would have been less. I probably would have wanted to tell Ben that I was looking for it. There wouldn't be really a reason for Ben to not trust me. I don't know. You can get like super deep into it, or you can like, we can get more into this, but like I honestly, for basically all this episode, I didn't really even think that I was in danger. I really thought that Camila was going to be the one that was in danger. Like I thought there was definitely a big chance of it being me, but like I forgot exactly why. I don't know if it was something that Megan said. I think maybe she might have like changed the story slightly or something to us and telling us that like, oh, Nate said that they're voting for Camila, even though she knew that they're voting for me. I don't know the exact 100% details on it. Maybe we can talk to her about that at some point. I think the edit kind of almost really saved me, because I really, for a lot of it, I think I thought that it was going to be Camila going home, and I was just really working hard to save her, because she was my number one person, and like I just thought that like going into a swap about somebody that I can really actually fully trust, because I didn't trust Ben at all, obviously. Even though like we had this pretty good alliance, I like was very wary about him, so I was like really almost fighting for her. So I'm like, there's like a universe. I have the idol, and I play it on Camila, and I go home, and I just look like even bigger idiot.
Interesting.
Like, oh man,
yeah.
So you and your idol plays.
I know.
Yeah. Man. So I guess, do you want to talk about like, so there's this plan where as of like the day before Tribal, the plan was originally 2 on Megan, 2 on Nate. But since Ben, Katie, and Nate were going to vote for you, you would have went home 3-2-1.
Exactly.
So it switched from 1-3-2-1 to another 3-2-1. But initially, like I remember, remember me, Sarah. I think we were talking.
I think we were texting.
Like,
yeah.
We were like, poor Jack. Like Jack's gonna get voted off this week. He's gonna be so disappointed. Like, and obviously we couldn't let on anything that like you were gonna be in trouble. So we just had to completely just not talk about season 4 at all. But we were just like, Jack. I always remember thinking like, Jack is a goner. Like, there's a few days at least, because like this had happened earlier in the week, I think, where we were like, there's at least a couple of days where like you were just going to be voted off.
And I had no idea. I had absolutely zero idea. You guys know. I mean, I talked to you guys a lot through this season. Obviously, we did KYTL, very meta. But like, you guys did a great job like all season. However long I last at not giving anything away with your emotions or, any snide, or like little, you guys
honestly,
great.
As friends of the players and also being producers, you're also kind of playing Survivor as well. Like you have to kind of like, yeah, you can't spill anything. You gotta be on your toes. You gotta like remember what information they know and what you know.
And it never ends because we still like have all this knowledge of the rest of season 4 and all the future seasons that we have to like be careful not to like mention. And the game never stops, folks.
Yeah, it never stops.
But yeah,
it's so ominous.
I love that. I love the clips of how like you're like I know this is like I don't really think I'm gonna go home, and I know the person that says that is always the person that goes home, but I really don't think it's gonna be me. Camila's like, yeah, sometimes I feel nervous saying I'm not gonna go home, but I know I'm not gonna go home, so I'm not that nervous actually. Like, just I can't believe the fact that you guys both had a line that was exactly like I'm not going to go home was so perfect. Like you guys were kind of on top of the tribe. Like I can see why you guys felt so confident at that point, because like you were in the middle of these two pairs. Like you didn't expect the two pairs to like talk to each other and like turn against you.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we definitely felt on top of the world at that point. Yeah, little did we know. And like in 95% of Survivor episodes and College Survivor, CBS Survivor, we have those confessionals where it's super confident, and then it cuts to tribal, and then one of us goes home. But this episode was not like 95% of all Survivor episodes. True. There's still a ton more that happened, I feel like.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to give a shout out to the Big Wigs reference.
Oh yeah.
We got a little cameo, and then you were like, Jack, you were like, me, Megan, and Camila, we're gonna be what me, Sam, and Sarah should have been if we all trusted each other.
Exactly.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that night where Megan spilled everything to you guys? And
yeah, it was definitely one of the biggest shocks I had ever playing Survivor up to this point. Like I feel like the two big things that were just like completely world shaken are when I got in the car with you and Mike, Sarah, at Final 8 in season 2. I was like, what's going on?
I was just like, look at all these texts, and you were like, I don't even know. And we're like, we're gonna save you, Jack. You were like literally, oh my gosh.
So it was a very similar feeling, except I wasn't being. Like, I mean, okay, it wasn't. The saving hadn't already happened. Basically, like you were basically what you and Mike were just able to tell me. This is what's happening. You're gonna vote. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna play your idol, vote this way, and it's gonna be fine. I'm just like, okay, just like completely, just like shell shocked. But here,
you had to do more.
Yeah, I had to actually go out and do stuff. So I wanted. So first of all, I just want to give like all of the credit in the world to Megan here, because I feel like this was like a really brilliant thing on her part, because she kind of looked at what was happening and where her placement in the tribe was if she was to vote me off, and especially, she was already, I feel like, kind of getting a little bit concerned about it, and then like hearing about everything that Ben was telling Ivy, which she then kind of heard through Jackson, and she's just like, I really cannot trust Ben at all, can I? Like, even though Jack has kind of been lying to me, and like he and Camila are like playing both sides and like not being fully honest with me, I'm gonna be more safe with him in the long run too, which is, funnily enough, like I feel like exactly kind of the mentality that you and Mike had going into Final 8. Like you were like, okay, like Jack can't really fully be trusted. He was lying to me about this, like about his idols, but like I'm in a better place with him and like voting out Sam than like letting him go and kind of letting Sam take control. I feel like there's like really a lot of parallels between this week and Final 8.
Yeah, it just happened real quick. Yeah, I like how Megan she had this confessional where she was talking about how she's not just gonna like sit here and be on the bottom with like Nate, like, and then if Nate goes, like she could be the next one. Like I like how she actually mobilized.
Yeah,
because I like that in a player.
Yeah, so like I think what happened is that she went to Camila first, then Camila like convinced her to like fully go to me with this. So like I feel like Camila also played a pretty big part in that. Is that like if if she didn't feel like me and her had a good enough connection, she could have just gone with Megan and be like, oh no, Megan, like it's fine, or blah blah. Like I feel like each of us kind of had our own like little part to play. Like, if one of us didn't do things exactly in the right way, this move wouldn't have worked out.
Right.
Yeah. So anyways, we get to I get the call while we're recording KYTL. Like I go over there and, Megan spills everything, like, apologize like profusely for, not telling her everything about, the Breakfast Club Alliance and everything. And, I feel like kind of like the experience of being in that position at Final 8 in season 2 kind of helped me because I was like, I'm not going to just be shell shocked this time and kind of like hope things go my way tomorrow. Like I want to do something. I remember like we kind of talked for a long time about trying to figure out what that something was. I remember there was like some weird thing that Megan and Camila tried about like trying to like text Ben about Nate. I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. Like, do you remember the same? Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was some like weird like strategy that Megan and Camila were trying. Like, we either with Nate or Ben. I was like kind of like sitting in the back, just saying like, this is not going to work. Like, I don't know what kind of weird things they're trying. Like, there's something else we got to do. And so this was the night before, and I feel like I kind of like slept on it. And was just like really just kind of like trying to think of what to do because I knew I was not going down without a fight. Like,
right.
At that point, like I was saying earlier, like I thought that from what Megan had said, it kind of seemed like they were voting for Camila, but like there was definitely a high chance it could have been me too. And obviously in reality, it actually was going to be me. So I was just like, I'm not going to go down without a fight. I'm not going to just kind of like let this happen or like see if maybe this weird kind of thing worked and go to tribal council and hope that like Megan and Camila like go to rocks for me. Because I was like, I feel like Camila would go to rocks for me at this point. I don't think Megan would. I think that Megan would probably be way too scared of rocks and flip back if that happened. So I'm like, I need to just do something to try to actually get Ben to flip back onto my side so we can vote him out. So I just kind of thought of like, what if I just try being honest with him, honest, just try like
novel idea.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. And she's like, it seemed like, everything that happened this week was about people like, revealing lies and stuff like that. And, people double crossing. So I was like, if I just completely come clean to Ben and just like play on his emotions, because I know that he's been trying to be an honest person and just be like, I went into this game trying to like lie a lot or whatever. And like, now I just realized it's not working out. Like, I'm sorry I lied to you about this, blah, blah, blah. And just like really, really just work at him. And, you don't really get a sense of time from this episode, but it was a long time that I spent on Ben's couch, right before the night of Tribal. And like, honestly, I'm so thankful that he even like let me come over there. Cause I was like, basically, Ben, we need to talk about this. Like, I just feel so weird. He could have easily just like not responded and be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I was in a group project, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I probably would have been gone that night. So thanks to Ben for, answering and wanting to meet right before tribal council. And
thanks to Ben for wanting to meet. It got him voted off.
Thank you. So moral of the story is never meet with people on Survivor. No.
That's funny because that was your mistake in season 2.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think that from what I've seen in the footage, and I guess this will be also maybe a question for Megan, but like she was, I really think she would not have gone to rocks. Mm-hmm. Like I really think that if you had not gotten Ben and Katie to flip their votes to Nate, that it would have been a tie, and I think that Megan would have flipped on you and you would have been home. So like that really was like that meeting with Ben before Tribal, as much as like I want to give Megan a lot of credit and Nate, I want to give both of them a lot of credit for the way they changed this vote. You really did like save yourself in this episode, like and one of like I think one of the best moves or biggest moves I've seen in like definitely all season and maybe even like across multiple seasons, like because the way that you had that conversation with Ben, you completely manipulated him and literally like got him to vote himself off, basically.
This is like the only time where we're like, you did such a good job manipulating. Like, great job.
Great job.
Yeah, great job.
Played expertly on his emotions. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, it was obviously like devastating to see from Ben's side, but like you did say in the season that you were going to play, last time I was mean, this one meaner, like, you wanted to play a little bit more intense this time. You said, I don't want to get voted off like some chump. Like you really had like, we've definitely seen a different version of Jack this season, of like this more cutthroat kind of like, mob boss sort of persona that we didn't really see as much in season 2, at least near the end.
Yeah. I mean, I was not going to go down without actually fighting for it this time. I think maybe season 2 Jack would have just been like, I don't know if there's anything more we can do at this point. Let's go to tribal and pray. I think I got some people on my side, but it's all right. We'll see what happens. Yeah, but I wanted to try that, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just literally, and also I just had like kind of like this nervous energy through it, and I just feel like that nervous energy, I kind of like maybe played it up a little bit, or like, because it was also like very real, because I was very nervous about that vote. And I think that kind of helped my believability of coming clean and just like feeling bad about it. And really, I was just kind of like, I knew that it was to vote out Ben. Yeah, so I think that's a question that people have had, because I think that you guys, the editors and like the storyboarders, you really wanted to make it seem like that the purpose of that meeting was to get Ben to vote for Nate, so then we could all vote Nate out together. But really, that the whole time was actually, I wanted to vote out Ben. And I think that some people, like, I think that kind of looking at it, like, it's kind of hard to talk about this stuff without spoiling possibly things to happen later in the season. But like, I think it's reasonable to be like, is this a good idea to vote out Ben right before the swap and kind of like completely fracture your tribe? But I think the thing is, it was going to be so hard to not vote out Ben at that point. Like, me and Camila and Megan had so much energy of us, like, we need to find a way to stick it back to Ben. He's trying to turn on us. We need to turn it back on him. Like, it was really like once we had that meeting, like the night before, like the three of us were writing down Sven's name. I don't think there's anything that really could have done to stop that. And I don't know. It's just that, like, there's I don't know. It was just.
No, yeah, there's nothing like the feeling of meeting with like your alliance and just like all being on the same page and like getting excited about voting one person. Like, that's what it was like when we were all like, oh, we're gonna get Jack out that one. Like, we were like so pumped up for it. Like, you don't even really think about the consequences anymore. You're just like excited to do it, and like, yeah.
Yeah, but it seems like it did change that time though.
Yeah, but it's like in the moment, it's just so much adrenaline. It's like hard to describe.
I know, it's true though. But yeah, plus like I can see what you're saying too, Jack. Like how, like Ben, I think you said it in the episode. Like, Ben had tried to get you out. Like, if someone's, if you hear that someone, I mean, I guess you didn't know if he was going for you or Camila. Yeah, but if you hear that someone's going to like get you out, like, I feel like it's a very natural response to be like, screw them. Like, I'm getting rid of them now. Like, they're not going to be able to stick it to me. Like, they're not getting away with that. Like that kind of thing. And if someone is willing to vote you out, like, how can you really trust them down the road? They're not going to do it again. Exactly. And like the other side of like saying, oh, Ben's going to be a shield if we go to a swap, is that like, oh, I already know that there's this, this bad blood between us that maybe he's trying to hide. I can so see him going to people and being like, hey, let's flip this on Jack at the swap. Like, if he guns onto a tribe with Tokidoki, if like maybe there's some sort of weird swap tribe of like me, him, Ivy, some other people, I could be very, very vulnerable in that situation. If they want to flip it onto me, he could, because I know that he knows all this information that I get, that he knows, just getting to knows is, it's kind of hard to talk about, but it's just like, I know that he has dirt on me that he could give to other people. This might kind of fracture a tribe more. And like into a potential swap situation, but like at this point, I feel like I'm more worried about Ben being a more dangerous player than maybe, and like this is my thoughts at the time. I like, she's really great and like very good survivor player, but like I was more worried about Ben doing more damage than like maybe Katie going into a swap. If that makes sense. Because I know that Ben had played before. I know that he has survivor experience,
Yeah, that makes sense.
Speaking of Ben, I'm curious about his thoughts on all this, and I'm very curious to see how you and Ben. I want to see you guys interact and talk about this episode together because obviously you two had a lot to talk about. So,
it's gonna be a fun little reunion. All right, let's get Ben.
All right, let's bring him on. So we have Ben as our guest this week. First of all, love the shirt.
Thank you.
Always serving the looks. Oh, I just want to say your confessionals are always my favorite because you're always like kind of either super disheveled and like freaking out or just like I don't know. It's just really funny. Like the state that you're in each time is like different.
You're always framing your shots so well.
Yeah.
Thank you. I definitely always recorded mine when I was like at my worst time. I should have been recording them. Looking back at it, like I should have like prepared myself more, but that's very nice.
Yeah.
I was noticing we saw a lot more like shirtless Ben confessionals this season. I was like, are we getting some shades of Brady? Like maybe we're getting just like the I don't know. I noticed that you had a one night stand with the idol, shirtless in bed.
I definitely was inspired. Brady, I think, texted me and was taking credit for me being shirtless. So I guess he owns that now.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. As a whole, I guess maybe were you trying to play like more like Brady then? Because I know you talked a lot about how you're trying to like change your game up. So if were you trying to model yourself almost off of Brady and trying to including the shirtless even part of it?
I don't think so. I loved playing with him, but no, I think honestly I was trying to really play more like myself. I think season 3 I really put on a lot of characteristics that I thought would be entertaining to watch, and so this time I was like, I need to strip down more. And
you did strip down more. Yeah.
Yeah, literally.
Taking the shirt off.
And that was the metaphor. There's where my artistry comes in. Yeah.
What was it like playing 2 seasons back to back?
A bad decision. It was honestly a lot of mental stress, and I don't think I would recommend it to anyone. I'm glad I did it because like my Survivor experience was in one chunk of time, but it's hard. And winter is much harder than fall semester.
Yeah, how exactly did you come to play in this season? Because I know like the other 3 of us were like seniors, and this was kind of our last chance. And you weren't a senior, but like, so how did that whole process start?
So I think they had the twist idea. I was the last person to be cast, and I honestly can't remember exactly how it went down, but I think they wanted, if I can say this, they wanted Bree, but Bree was too busy. And I knew that this would be the last semester of college that I would have enough free time to ever play again if I wanted to. And so I think I like threw out the idea almost as a joke, like, oh, I could come back. And then people kind of like liked that idea. And then because Bree couldn't play it and they needed someone from School Music, Theater, and Dance, then it was really like, it was me or it was Lavana, but like,
oh my god!
I think I was more recent.
If I came on the first day and I saw Lavana there, I would have flipped the shit. Oh my god!
The gameplay would be so fascinating.
That's hilarious.
I guess like kind of on that note, Ben. I mean, you just come off season 3. You didn't have that much time in between these 2 seasons. Like, what was your mindset entering the game as season 4?
Very disheveled. Like I came in, I think that like over Christmas break, I maybe like took some notes and like kind of thought that I had figured out my season 3 game. But like, as y'all know, it takes a really long time. And honestly, it takes watching yourself to really understand your game. And so like, I think I came out of season 3, like cooled off, focused on my work, and then immediately was like thrown back into the semester. I mean, like I ran into like Adam the day before we started playing at like a party that was at my house, and literally the night before at this party, like our water main broke and it flooded our basement completely. And I was up until like 4 a.m. dealing with this, like with the city, like fixing the water. So I was coming off of like no sleep, showing up. And that was pretty much my state of mind the whole month I was playing.
Wow.
Oh
That's funny. Is that so? Can you talk us about your decision to tell everyone about the Ben bomb, like day one?
Yeah, maybe day one was not the smartest idea. I will admit that. But I think I talked about it on the show. I knew that the information was easy to use against me, and the only way that I could have any sort of control about that information, at least with my tribe, is if everyone heard it from me.
Right.
Because like I knew Jack very little compared to Eliza and Matthew, because Matthew is my producer, and I wasn't sure because like Bree had told me, don't watch out for Jack, like he's gonna cut you, and I was like, I don't know, like I think I'll end up on a tribe with him. So yeah, I knew that if I don't know, I was worried about you because did you have any plans to like use that information against me going into it?
Oh, 100%. And I've kind of defended you on this podcast in previous episodes for like, because you did get a lot of hate for that. And maybe there was maybe a more artful way you could have done it. But like, I was totally going to plan on using that as even just like with the people who I'm like closest with, like, at this point, like Camila or Megan or whatever, to get them kind of closer to me. I was totally planning on like using what I knew about the other attorneys' games against them, including you. And so like, I definitely think I don't think it's a bad idea at all to go out ahead of it. Like maybe not telling the entire tribe on the first night. Like, yeah.
No, I don't think there was a good way to do it, but I also did know that like if I was going to do that out in front of everyone, that it was going to immediately make people start talking about me, and that would make you feel a little bit at least in a better position, and that would make you want to work with me more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't regret that decision. Like of all the things I've done in Survivor, like that's the one where I'm like, yeah, it looked insane, but I know that I did that right.
Yeah, and
honestly, like,
no, go ahead, Sam.
I was gonna say, honestly, like, yeah, I kind of like the idea to do it to everybody on day one. Honestly, like, I think that is the best way to do it, because thinking about it, like, sure, it'll cause a little bit of a bomb at the very beginning of the game, but at least you like kind of rip that Band-Aid off like right away, like immediately after the first challenge, basically, and then it's like by the time we get to like, like week 3, week 4, like nobody's really talking about it anymore. Like it's just not really an issue anymore. Whereas like, yeah, I could see it having become a bigger issue if like, oh, you told it to people kind of like, what if you told people like in smaller groups and then it like leaked out? People were like, oh, how come Ben told them and not me? And like the whole thing that just like
told,
right away,
like that Ben told Katie, well, like why didn't he tell us this? And now Katie, totally Sam.
Like I kind of feel like I do agree, like telling everybody right away, day one, rip off the Band-Aid, like it's tough to have to deal with like the kind of baggage from season 3, but I feel like that is like the only way I can really think to do it, that like other than somehow all 4 attorneys agreeing to keep everyone's game a secret, which there's just no way that was going to happen.
Yeah, and I think I like maybe gauged in that meeting where like all 4 of the returnees met up before the game. I was kind of trying to gauge like, all right, what sort of game are we going to play here? And in that, everyone was very much like, yeah, it's all 4 of us to the end. Okay. And everyone was holding their cards. So I was like, okay, I need to make sure that the easy play is not available to them. I don't know, but it did set the tone. Like, I feel like the people who heard that information either heard it and were like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, they got over it. Or, like, that was the formative kind of lens that they perceived me through, and they never got over that, especially on the other tribe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think that's the reason. I don't think it played very much at all into, like, the reason you got voted off this week.
No.
Yeah, no, like, I don't think that really had. I don't think. So I think by the time, maybe it would have come into some sort of weird thing in a swap with maybe other people's perspectives of you. But yeah, I think that was probably not a super huge issue for you, I think.
Yeah.
You had others. No.
I had a lot of issues.
Sam, were you gonna?
I do. I guess my one like devil's advocate would be like, it did seem that Megan was a one person that like really never trusted you like throughout the whole game. And I do think maybe she's someone that kind of just like had kind of a negative first impression of like after the Ben bomb, and just like from then on, she was like, you know, even going to kind of this episode where you're voted off and the sides are kind of forming, and Megan decided to tell Jack and Camila. Like, I guess I wonder how much that was due to her not really like trusting you and Katie and not really trusting Nate versus like how much was formed off of day one.
I think
I do feel like Megan,
I don't think I did enough work with Megan at all during this. Like, I definitely could have done a lot more socializing, and whether that was like just I honestly don't really know why I didn't, but like I don't think I met up with her one-on-one at all in the game, and so like it makes sense that she never really trusted me because I was not telling her information.
Yeah, and I think I was kind of, you know, at least up to this point in this game, not talking about, you know, anything that comes after this, but like I'm definitely, I feel like I had a kind of similar issue with Nate, which kind of might have started off this whole process, you know, is that I feel like I had pretty good vibes with everybody on this tribe, except for whatever reason I was not able to get a good connection with Nate. And that kind of what started everything going against me, you know? So I think we both kind of had that one kind of blind spot person on our tribe and kind of like almost killed my game and then maybe ended up killing your game, you know?
Yeah.
But very, very close to killing my game. Yeah.
I think it was easy to just like, oh, sorry, I lagged. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, sorry. No, I was done.
I think it was easy to get into our like low 4-person alliance of us and Camila and Katie, and then just kind of be like, well, we have the numbers here too. And like, since at least I was already really busy at that time, you know, of course the numbers are going to shift. Of course the relationship have to shift because every week is different. Yeah.
So with like the whole pair situation, were you kind of like set on going with like, I guess what made you pick one pair over the other? Like, was it a constant switch? Like, oh, I feel good about this pair. Now I feel good about this other pair. Like,
which pairs are you talking about?
So it's like you and Katie, Jack and Camila, Megan and Nate. Did you see it that way as like 3 pairs?
I think by this week I did.
Okay.
Yeah, but I didn't see. I honestly never really saw Nate and Megan together because all of the relationship that I had with Nate, especially in this week of the game, he would tell me about like, oh, I was talking to Megan and blah blah blah, and this is what happened. So like, I didn't think that Nate had strong relationships with anyone.
Okay.
But I definitely was able to. I mean, it kind of happened naturally of like Camila and Jack, and then me and Katie. I also like did not realize how, because I think everyone immediately was like, they are a power duo. Like, oh my gosh, look at them. We didn't even try to do that or like have any sort of name to that until maybe the 2nd, 3rd week. But everyone like immediately was clocking us for that, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah, Nate was like, Ben and Katie are sharing sharing noodles at no time. You're in an alliance.
He's very perceptive. Like I keep the alliance before I make it. Yeah.
He like could see the future. He could see you guys are going to have an alliance. They vibe, which was true. I mean, you and Katie did vibe like from like day one, like second one, like you guys shook each other's hands and like you guys vibed.
Yeah, she's so great. I mean, like Jack, you know, like Katie's just and Camila, like really El Norte was a great group of people, and like regardless of how the game ended up, everyone except for the first person who was voted out, I had a pretty like good. I really liked everyone on the tribe.
Wait, were we talking about how? Wait, Ben, were you the first one to show up in your tribe on the first day, or like one of the first ones? Because we were talking about how it's always you and like the first person get really close, like for you and Brady. And I think it was you and Katie first. And we were like, or like he just likes the early birds.
And they need to have a 2-syllable name that ends with like an E sound, and then you know that's ride or die to the end.
It's so fascinating. So it's a pattern now. It's a pattern. Yeah.
So you need to come back again for the 3rd time, Ben. Be there first, and somebody's gonna rhyme with Brady or Katie. They'll be the second person, and that's the time where you guys are going to make it to the final 2.
Actually, yeah.
Wow.
It'll be
destiny.
All I can think about is Katie and Sadie from Total Drama.
Literally, I
Wait,
started
Sam
thinking.
just watched. Yeah.
I just watched through Total Drama, and I love that I caught that reference. Jack
show.
and Sarah haven't watched
Yeah, well,
it, so
me and
it's just a little bit
Sarah.
sad for them. But
He sent us a lot of screenshots
Mm-hmm.
of the show.
I was mentioning how a lot of people from Survivor Michigan remind me of people from Total Drama Island, and it's actually funny how uncanny some of the like comparisons are.
We definitely are cartoonish in that
Oh,
way.
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Speaking of cartoonish people, can we talk about Tom and all of his antics,
Oh,
I
man.
love
including
Tom.
the
Oh my
fake idol?
God. Yeah,
Yes.
the fake idol clue.
Okay, the fake idol was. I thought it was a good play, personally. I thought I played that week that well.
Yep.
Tom is great. I mean, I don't know what to say. Tom was. You probably saw it on the show, like talking to everyone and throwing everybody's name out there. He was so chaotic that it made me confused about my perception of everybody else on the tribe. I was like, is he telling me like the true information, and I'm just like naive to all of it? I don't know. Maybe the fake idol was a little bit of an overplay, but
I liked it. Did you make it from scratch?
I did, and I never got it back. It was like
no.
one of my shoelaces from my Doc Marten boots, and then like some trinkets that I had from like a middle school trip to the beach or something. I don't know.
That's amazing.
Does Tom still have that? Do we know where
He
that
probably
is?
does.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure
Maybe-
Tom has it.
I hope he does. He deserves
Yeah.
that souvenir.
He wouldn't
Yeah,
throw
I
away.
still have my fake idol, so.
Yeah, like Tom wouldn't throw away a relic
yeah.
from Survivor.
Yeah, Ben, do you remember this?
Oh, yes, I do.
Oh my
Do I remember?
I have it right here.
He just like whips it out.
Yeah, I literally have
You
it
just
in my
have
desk.
that right there.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you have that.
That's
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for those unaware, this is the fake idol that I found on the premiere of season 2 that ended up marinating on Ghost Island and became Ben's real idol in season 3.
Wow, you guys got that bond.
Mm-hmm.
That
So-
was our
That's so
storyline.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember talking to you about that, and just like apologizing for making it so hard to find because you spent like so long in the ARB looking for that.
Part of me was like, okay, maybe the stars are kind of aligned. Like
Yeah.
Jack and I are gonna work well together. We have the title.
I mean, you were just talking about you and Jack and your relationship. Like, so, yeah, what was going through your head when Nate first told you like that Jack had basically been playing both sides, and he had gotten this clue from Megan, and he hadn't told you about it. Like we saw on the show, you were definitely like upset about this. Like, what was running through your head?
I felt bad because I had kind of also been playing, like I'd been telling Jack that he was my number one, and I'd been telling Katie that she was my number one. And then like when I heard that you had been talking to like other people, or I can't really remember what was happening, honestly. But no, I felt bad because I think Katie had started to grow suspicious of you and Camila, and I was like, I'm not ready to act on that yet. But then I was like, oh shit, like Jack is actively acting on it. I need to step up. I need to like do something about it. So I like Katie and Nate and I all met up and like tried to concoct a plan or something, but obviously it got back to you.
Yeah. I mean, it like by all accounts like should have worked. I should have probably been gone. It's just like the chaos of this week's strategy is like really like I feel like some of the most intense, weird, like back and forth gameplay on Survivor Michigan ever. You know,
And it was confusing. Like I never got a grasp on it because like I wanted to be wrong. You know, like I really wanted to be wrong. I wanted the information that you were double crossing me to be wrong. But
wait, so when you met with Jack, how much of what he was telling you did you believe?
At first, I really didn't believe anything, but then I don't know. He got to this. Jack is very good. Like he's very. And you stayed there for a while, which I was impressed by. I was like, there came a point where I was like, you are sitting on my couch. You've been sitting on my couch for 45 minutes. You look like a bus has just hit you and that you like regret everything. Like, I don't know. I think I bought into it when you gave me like the eyes, like the please forgive me sort of
The
eyes.
No, I literally, I remember the exact moment, I think, where I like kind of won you over. Like, I think it's like I think it's in the episode too. It's like when I lean back and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I just, okay.
You were like, okay,
Yeah.
look, yeah. But also because I was like, I need Jack to come to the conclusion that getting me out is not the right move here, because it wasn't it's not at week 4 getting me out right before possibly a swap. Like, I am clearly target number 1 to everybody in this game. Like, why would you want me gone? I think that's why I was willing to believe that he had come around, is because in my head, my path of like staying in the game was much better for him than me leaving.
Yeah, and like I think objectively speaking, like I think you're right there. Like, obviously, it's really hard to talk about too much about things that are, like might happen like later in the season, but I do feel like a lot of like what I was saying to you, like what's like true, I feel like, is that like of like us needing to stick together, of us like needing to do this, like of like trying to like be meat shields for each other or whatever at the swap, and trying to like not splinter the tribe too much was true. But I think we talked about it a little bit on this podcast already, but like I feel like there's just it was really gonna be hard for us, like for me to convince like Megan and Camila to actually vote for Nate.
Totally.
Like I just feel like at that point there was just so much like kind of momentum going in the direction of us voting out you, that like even if I like came out of that meeting and like was really convinced that I could not vote for you, like there was no time. That was literally like the day of tribal. Like it was a few hours till tribal. So like,
well, and it didn't help that Eliza found the idol and everyone thought I had it.
Yeah, so I mean, like, that's really kind of what started this whole thing. Like I feel like,
which is funny because like Eliza got me,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And another kind of like element to it, I think too, is that like Jack wasn't even entirely sure that you were going to be changing your vote to Nate. Like there was still that doubt that like, what if you and Katie were still voting for Jack? What if you had the idol and we're going to play it? Like all that's kind of like stuff.
What if you're voting for Camila? Because I remember that was actually a big part of it. That's kind of like not really shown in the episode. Is that even I thought that there was like a really big possibility that like the vote originally was actually going to be towards Camila, not even towards me. And I think the edit almost kind of probably saved me, because it made me look like I was smarter than I was. Because I actually really for a long time thought it was going to be Camila that week, and I was like fighting for Camila, because I felt that if like you guys voted out Camila, that my game would be like almost over. Blown up.
I think that was also like definitely an option. Like that's something me and Katie talked about, because I don't know, like what do you do in that situation?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and there's like this whole piece you don't even show in the episode, but like he's obviously for time and for drama and all this, but like we have our conversation, and Katie ends up being pulled into it over FaceTime, and like and like I think you guys at first are trying to really convince me to vote for Camila as kind of like like we need to at least do something because of Osline, this will bring us together, whatever. Like it just really was really fighting. I had to like really fight for you guys to switch the vote to Nate. So I wasn't sure if that part worked. I wasn't sure if you guys are going to vote for me. I wasn't sure if you're going to vote for Camila still. Like I was really unsure. Like I had a good feeling that it had worked. Like it was the confessional of me saying like, this is the best Survivor I played in my life. But like, I was there was a lot of uncertainty for sure.
Yeah. But you also like, I know you want to give credit to other people, but you coming over and doing that was what made me go home. Like ultimately you made the move that got me out. And so like, you should be proud of yourself for that. I'm crazy and hard to like play Survivor with. So.
Yeah, if we were to give like,
I feel
like, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Sarah.
I was just gonna say, like, do you think there's like one person who deserved, like, if we were to credit this week to one person, who would it be?
I don't know, because like it's really hard to, because I feel like it's so much of it is Megan deciding to tell me. Like Camila said, Megan was our Jesus. Like I would have had really no idea.
Because what did Megan tell you?
Like I think it was I don't know if it was the day of or the day before. I think it might have been the day of. I don't remember exactly. Sam, you might know better than me, honestly, because you worked.
I think it was the night before.
The night before, yeah, I think the night before sounds right.
I think because I drove with you guys up to North Campus to like film at Megan's apartment, and like I think it was at night, and the next day was tribal, so it was like the night before, I think.
Yeah, and yeah, I totally like did not realize anything was going wrong. I was like pretty like feeling good about that Nate was going home, and like I had no really reason to keep fighting it further. So like without Megan deciding to tell like me and Camila, like yeah, definitely would not have happened. So it's like, and I think like obviously like probably like I we can probably talk for a while, but what would happen if like, you know, Megan told me and Camila, but like I wasn't able to convince you, or you know, that whole thing didn't work out. I ended up going to your place. Like it's probably gonna be a 3-3 vote. Are there rocks? Somebody I imagine somebody probably flips before rocks, but like that's just it's really hard to say what happens in that scenario. But like
I think you can't credit any move that's not like, oh, I played an idol and then there was only one vote left. You can't credit it to just one person.
Yeah, that's true.
So anybody who wrote down my name, I would probably give them the credit.
I mean, I want to give a shout out to Nate though for being definitely 100% voted off to somehow like skating by, even though he was still blindsided. He did go from going home to not going home.
I think in the moment I felt really bad that like I had voted for him. And then I was like, I was getting votes and I was like, shit, now I feel bad about two things. Like it was a conflicting moment. Yeah. I'm really sorry for cursing you out.
I deserved it.
It's all
That's the thing is like I felt like with this episode there's just like one big part of me that's like, wow, this was one of the most entertaining moves I've seen, where it's this 3-2-1. We're seeing like one of the biggest players in like the last 2 seasons, like blindside, one of the biggest blindsides, this huge move. But I'm like, oh, but it's almost like this devastating part where it's like Ben had come back, you would come back and you would like kind of like had this kind of like redemption arc of like, I'm going to play loyal this time. Like, and ultimately that loyalty is like what ended up being your downfall, which I think is like kind of sad, where it's like, you know, you kind of like wanted to move on from like this villainous game, and then like this heroic game is what ends up like sending you home. So it's like, it's hard. It's like all these, I feel like that's one of the things that makes this episode so compelling, is like you have all these emotions of like going on at the same time about it.
And there's no one right way to do it. Like realistically, like I could have gone back in and been lying to everyone and I'd probably gone home the same week. Like, I don't know. I will say though, I should have known that I was getting voted out because everybody from production showed up to watch. And like usually at a tribal there's maybe 7 producers there tops, but every single person, and season 4, so there was
Jesse.
There were a lot of people from season 3. Let me tell you, like more than half of the cast of season 3 was there, and all drinking and like ready to watch. And I was just there, like, Lucky Dot, why are there so many people here right now? Like,
that's when you
even
know.
Jesse was there.
I know. Jesse did show up.
Wait, so
Jesse's like the angel of death showing up to tribal council. You know, it's if Jesse's there, you know that some shit's about to go down.
Yeah.
So
don't want to get Jesse there.
I have a question actually for Sam and Sarah. When did you like? If you guys remember, like, do you remember when production like realized that Ben was going home, or did you guys like not know until tribal? Because did you like message in a like group me or anything that you're changing your vote? Or
I think I group me my vote. They definitely knew, because when I got Bree was on production and like knew that I was going to be sent home, and she was in rehearsals with my roommates who did not tell me. Like they were very like we kept everything very like professional in that way. But when I got home, they were like, "We know that you just got home." But probably like 2 hours beforehand, so people scrambled really quickly to get.
I don't remember. Sam, do you remember?
I mean, yeah, what Ben's recollection sounds right. I remember Bree being like, I do remember like what you were talking about, Ben. Like Bree was saying like got to be there for Ben. Like, he's gonna be sad. It was only a couple hours before, and we were like, oh no. Like, I think I remember being like happy that Jack was safe, but then sad that you were getting voted off. So it's like, okay, it was one of those things where once Norte lost, I was like, I'm just gonna be upset no matter who gets voted off at this point.
Nobody wanted us to lose at this point.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody
No.
wanted us to lose at this point.
No. It was. I really thought you guys were going to win that Erik advantage. Like, I was shocked when you didn't.
Wait, yeah,
I was
remember
shocked.
seeing you guys on social media way more than them, and you guys are more social media oriented. I feel like
Because we're under
Nate and Camila, these TikTok stars.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Wait, actually, no, how did they win?
Wait,
How
what?
did they win? I'm so
They went
confused.
first. They went first.
Yeah,
So I think they had the momentum. By the time we were going, everybody had we had messaged, they had already had a chance to message.
Oh,
So,
I see.
Yeah.
Wait, and how did you
It's
decide who went first?
I think we
Like
picked going second, though.
Oh.
Did we?
I think honestly, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, maybe they picked.
Oh, because maybe you wanted
I
to
think
see
I can't remember.
what they got first.
I think you guys also thought that, like, since you were second, you would get like some of the people that they had messaged, but like, if they hadn't done it in time, they would have signed up while it was your guys' turn.
Right.
So I feel like it's a fair like strategy to think of, like, oh, maybe the person will like subscribe a day after and they didn't see their text in time, and like you guys would get it.
Oh, that's true actually.
Yeah, I think that's overthinking it.
Yeah.
I think it's classic El Norte overthinking and self-sabotaging.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, so there's actually another question I want to talk about that we haven't really got into about this whole vote that I feel like actually is a really big part of why it turned out the way it did. Like, I think like you choosing to go after me and like for these reasons, like, realizing my attorney and stuff like that, I don't think that's a bad move. I think that really what kind of ended up sinking you and what kind of ended up flipping Megan was you telling everything to Ivy.
Totally.
Yeah, and like her telling everybody on her tribe, and then Megan finding out from Jackson, and then just that whole kind of loop round of Megan not realizing that she doesn't really want to be with blah blah blah. But anyway, so like why did you want to like what was your thoughts about that relationship with Ivy that you had?
First of all, it was just dumb. Like it was plain like I was not thinking. I had known Ivy since freshman year, and I told her to apply, and every time, like, all of our relationship had kind of been like, oh yeah, when you play Survivor, we're gonna play Survivor together. So like in my head, I was like, great, like I want to play with Ivy because I really like Ivy. I still really like Ivy, but she texted me and was like, hey, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, hey, this is the perfect time. We're probably about to swap. Let's meet up. And I think after we met up, I was like, that was not smart. Like I pretty quickly was like, I said too much in that situation. But it's hard because, like, to me, I had not viewed her as a Survivor contestant. I was like, this is my friend. And I think like my emotional state going into that meeting with her was like, oh my God, let me just like hang out and catch up with my friend. What are we going to talk about? Let's obviously talk about Survivor. It was just dumb. Yeah, I was sad that I don't know if, I mean, obviously she got me out in that way, like spreading that information, but I also don't know if telling everyone everything was the best thing for her. Because I was like, I did tell her some things that would have been beneficial for her to keep to herself because they were information. And like, my thought was information is gold. I have some information that she doesn't know. Like, we already have this relationship. This is my olive branch. I think I extended too many olive branches,
Yeah.
Also, I was lying to her in some of the things. Like, I saw a little clip of that, and like, I wanted her to not really know my relationship with you in particular. Like, I remember telling her that, like, oh yeah, I don't know about Jack. Like, Jack and I, but at that point, we were actually like really tight, and I just didn't want people to think that I was actually integrating into like the culture of our tribe, because as far as I was concerned, they knew me as the evil, like, season 3 unknown chaotic player. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was a bad move. It was a really bad move.
I mean, I can see what you're saying too, though, where you're like in your head. I think like for both of these things, like where when you had told Jack, when you when you flip your vote to Nate, and when you told these things to Ivy, like in your line of reasoning, it wasn't a good move for Ivy to spill the information or for Jack to be lying to you. So in your mind, like I totally understand like the logic, and like I think I mostly agree with like what you're saying too. Like that like it wasn't necessarily, I mean, I don't know. We can debate in the future whether Jack turning on you is a good move or not, and I think that'll be seen throughout the season. But and I guess same thing for Ivy, but like yeah, like Ivy could have very easily had a cross tribal thing with both you and Nate. You know, given that she had lines, like she had friendships with both of you. So like I don't necessarily think it had to be a one or the other kind of thing. Like Ivy has said she didn't really trust you because of, you know, kind of the season 3 stuff, but I feel like maybe she gave up an opportunity to like have a alliance, like you just more connections on the other side. Even if you don't trust that person, like you don't necessarily want to throw them under the bus either. Like just like her just spilling all the information to Tokidoki. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that move either, because like that's information is power, and she just kind of just immediately gave away all the information she had, where she could have like, oh, maybe she only tells one person at Tokidoki and like gains a lot of trust with them rather than just telling the whole tribe at once.
I think a way that you
kind
could
of like,
sorry, I think like a way you could justify like I feel like Tokidoki, the way they viewed me was easy to get. It was easy for them to get to the point of viewing me as such a big threat and such like a person that they need to be on their radar, because they didn't have to go to tribal too. Because if they're thinking about me and about like all the different ways that they want to fuck me over at the swap, then they don't have to think about turning on the people that are directly next to them, because they didn't have to. So I get it. Like I wasn't upset about it or like surprised that much, because they'd only voted out one person in a month.
That definitely makes sense. I feel like we talked about this in like the podcast like a few times, where like it's a common, like I feel like with a tribe, like you kind of pick like the one scapegoat person, and then like you kind of all bond over like, oh, this is like the bad person in the game. Yeah. And it kind of like keeps your alliance, your tribe together if you just like kind of like, oh, this is the person. Like Tormento's Aaron, for us it was kind of like Kevin on the other tribe, or like Nick. Like you pick that like villain person and you kind of like bond over like, oh, we all need to like get that person out of the game, you know?
Yeah. And then when they're gone, you're just like, oh, and they start turning.
You all go after each other. Yeah.
It was shocking, because I didn't meet a lot of the people from Tokidoki until, honestly, like I didn't really meet some of them at all, like talk to them at all. But some of the people I met at the finale, and I was like, oh, hi. And like some people were almost like, why are you talking to me? Like, what? Okay. Like had this very elitist, like kind of like, okay, you want to like this attitude with me, which I'm not going to blame them for. I've obviously been like mean on the show before, and I've like been in a position where I haven't been, you know, I've been in the Aaron situation, but I wish that they could have taken the game context out of like viewing me as a human being.
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah,
that's fine. It didn't really bug me.
Tokidoki just sucks, you know.
Yeah.
I think that is one thing I really did like a lot about your season 4 game, which not to say that I didn't enjoy your season 3 game. Like I personally feel like it was so entertaining and I loved it. But like season 4, I did really feel like you made an effort to just be like just normal Ben, which I thought it was kind of cool to see like that different side of you, where like season 3, I think it was obvious that it was a character, it was exaggerated, it obviously wasn't like who you were all the time or who you were. But I like that season 4 really was just like you were almost a completely different like presence in the show, which is that's kind of the sad part, where like the Tokidoki and these people kind of like still assumed you were this like big cartoonish villain, where you really just were not like that at all in season 4.
Yeah, and they also hadn't even seen me play, so I was just kind of confused. I was like, there was a misconnection there, but I am not losing sleep about it. You know,
like I think it's almost like maybe it's almost even worse they hadn't seen you play, because now they're hearing things from like Eliza, or hearing rumors from the other tribe, and they were kind of imagining it to be even worse than it really was. You know what I mean? Like I kind of feel like the fear of the unknown is almost worse sometimes than like Matthew seeing his season air. You kind of know what you're getting. But like with you, they hadn't seen it. They're only assuming things, and like I kind of almost feel like the unknown is scarier sometimes.
Totally.
Yeah, and like, there's whispers of this Ben bomb, but like, no, I feel like nobody really knew exactly what was in it. Like, I feel like people like just knew that like you did something about at Tribal where you like released information, but like that probably like added into the like thing of some uncertainty. People were like, what did you say in here? Like, how did he like trash people's games this much? Like, did he like ruin the whole season? We're like, honestly, like, it certainly had an impact, on season 3. Don't get me wrong, but like, I feel like just not knowing what exactly that was, but kind of having this vague idea of you doing something like that,
Yeah, totally. I went back and looked at that email, just like see what I said. It was other than like I screen recorded people's texts.
Mm-hmm.
The actual body of it was not that exciting or relevant. It was just kind of like, I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Also,
go ahead.
I want to ask about Mustache Ben. How that came about.
This is funny because every time at least at this point in my life, and this like time in my life, every time I shaved to a mustache, something terrible would happen in my life, and I still kept doing it every once in a while, just cause. I know it looks
just
bad.
To tempt fate.
Like, yeah, I guess maybe I wanted to be voted out then. Yeah, I shaved it when I got home.
Hey, Sam, who did you say he reminded you of with the mustache?
Oh man, what was it? I said that. I said I got Freddie Mercury vibes.
Oh, that's what.
That's such a compliment. Thank you. Wow.
So funny.
There's one other random question I had. One of the clips in this episode had like you, Nate, and Katie were all like having this conversation about like how you're gonna vote off Jack, and then like I think it's your random. I think there's some other random guy was there. I think it was your friend.
No, it was Nate's friend.
Is it Matt? Like named Matt? Is it Nate's friend? Matt?
I think it's Nate's friend. Yeah.
Nate's friend. Okay. I was gonna ask about that guy, but we'll have to ask Nate about him.
I've had friends who have made cameos on the episodes before, but I'm not really sure where. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Bree has definitely made a cameo in like your confessionals,
All of my confessionals were done. If I didn't do them alone, I did them with Bree or with Nick Pelton from season 2.
Oh, so. Yep. What a duo.
I don't know. You know what I did want to say? And I feel like you will agree with me on this, is that on week 3, when we won the challenge, nobody was happy. Nobody was happy. Even us winning the challenge, nobody was happy with that challenge. It was a disaster. I think Toki was really upset, but that was the worst challenge experience of Survivor Mission.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah, they really saved that challenge in the edit. They really took out a lot of the objectionable parts of it. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It was something. It was quite the experience to watch that unfold. That was during the vortex too. Like it was like we all had to go to North Campus, and it was like -40-degree and the wind chill, and everyone was afraid to walk from their car in the parking lot through the building entrance. The whole entire day was just such a shit. The whole thing was just such a shit show from start to finish. Yeah. But I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget that day. That's for sure.
Very true. Honestly, the challenges on this season, as horrible as I was at all of them, they were I will never forget any of them.
Yeah,
this season.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
That watermelon challenge was something else.
Yeah,
I still can't eat watermelon.
Are you serious?
I get physically nauseous every time I eat watermelon, and watermelon flavored things I used to like, and I like kind of am not crazy about.
Oh my gosh! Because of the challenge? Wow.
It was
disgusting. It was kind of gross. Honestly, I was fascinated, but like I was kind of grossed out watching it because just like everyone's spitting it in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Getting like watermelon up your nose and your
Mhm.
ears.
yeah.
It was a fun challenge though. Like
Yeah.
but it was. I think it was fun for the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. We didn't even talk about Erik Reichenbach.
I know.
Yeah.
It's so
I
weird
didn't-
that like Erik Reichenbach from fucking CBS Survivor was on this episode, and it literally was
What?
like it's not even like one of the top headlines, that we can talk about.
It's because he didn't talk to us. We didn't get him.
Yeah, he was salty about me telling them to give us immunity.
I'm so glad you said that.
That was It's something.
It was something. Yes.
All right. Any last words you have for your fans?
Fans. That's funny.
You have a ton of fans, Ben.
Are you
Don't-
definitely have fans?
Oh yeah.
I saw people tweeting on Twitter about like they're like this season's over after Ben getting voted out and like all these gifts and stuff. Yeah,
That's
people
really
love you,
kind.
Ben.
Well, thank you to everyone who watched, and if you like this season, you're gonna love the next couple of seasons that are coming up. Survivor Michigan is such a cool community, and I'm like really proud to see what it has been able to grow into in such a short time, y'all. Like really, the fan base of the people, like there's a consistent group of people that watches the show, and I think that's really neat. So thank you for watching.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. So glad you got to come back on KYTL again, Ben.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure.
I'm
you
glad
so
you
much
don't
for
hate my guts.
Not at all. No, Jack, seriously. I'm so happy I got to play the game with you, and I'm so happy I got to see y'all today. I hope y'all are all doing well.
Aw.
Yeah.
Thanks,
you
you
too.
too.
All right.
All right, thanks.
All
Bye,
right,
Ben.
Bye.
Should I leave the studio?
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool. Bye, y'all.
I'm kind of sad that we're not going to have Ben on KYTL again. Like that's it.
I
I
know.
guess that's Ben's Survivor career.
It was so great catching up with him.
Yeah.
There's
I still
obviously-
feel like we're going to see him on some show in the future.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Is he going to be on Big Brother? I feel like I can so see him on Big Brother. I think that might fit him maybe better than
Yeah.
Survivor.
I see Big Brother.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do like keep your torch lit Big Brother edition when
If-
Ben's on Big Brother.
If
So we
Ben
can
is
have him
on
as a
Big
guest.
Brother, then I will do a Big Brother podcast.
Absolutely. So
Absolutely.
so Ben, do we want to eulogize our good friend?
Ben.
Oh, wait, I said one thing. I just want to. I feel like it's actually
Yeah.
kind of funny. Just one small thing. Just going back into the meta-ness, because we've kind of talked a lot about meta a lot of the season. Is that when we recorded last season, I think when Ben got voted out, I think that was actually like one of the first times that I had talked to Ben like since I had voted him out in season 4.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it just, but like, I mean, obviously, like we're both.
We couldn't talk about that. Yeah.
It's a game, and we're completely over it. There's no bad blood between us whatsoever. But it was, I just remember it being very funny about like and kind of like the pre-talk before we started actually recording the episode. Like, oh my god, hey man, sorry about that. But yeah,
That is funny. I do remember that now. Like whatever that was like last summer, probably, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Man. That's hilarious.
Good time. So yeah, I mean Ben, both times I feel like he's been an all-timer guest. So yeah, It's so great to catch up with him. Yeah, let's get to the eulogy.
Eulogy for Ben.
Ben really came in hot from season 3. He had a lot to still prove. He had a lot that he wanted to change about his game. I think he had a lot of, bright plans for his future on season 4. But immediately kind of reverted back to the old habits with the Brady Katie thing. But I still I really like how he came clean first. Like he had a lot of good moves that he made on his part. And he did not back down on the confessionals. Still amazing confessionals.
He's He's a Survivor Michigan all-timer for professionals for sure.
Yes.
It's the thing, like I liked a lot of things about his game, like to have his playing honestly, his thing with like just being up front with his tribe, the fake idol thing with Tom was fun. I feel like it's so hard because he just came in with such a big target and so much baggage that like I honestly kind of feel like, I mean, I don't know, he didn't necessarily get voted off because of his baggage, but like his baggage really held him back a lot. Toki Doki really saw him as a threat. Megan basically never trusted him, and like I feel like he did the best. I feel like he honestly did almost the best he could, given how hard this season was going to be for him going in. Just being very returny and having all the season 3 stuff, and also having like all the returnees not really trust each other. Like it's hard seeing him go out after kind of changing his game and trying to play more honest. But I think that he maybe went too far on the honest side and should have been playing for himself a little bit more. And maybe, you know, maybe he shouldn't have just still voted you off, Jack. Like, I mean, if he would have voted for you and not flipped back to Nate, you know, even though I don't know if that would have been the best move for him, it would have saved him. Maybe he should have never flipped you.
Yeah.
Maybe he should have never flipped and voted you off in the first place. I think maybe he should have just confronted you about the clue thing right away and still voted off Nate.
Or maybe keep that in his back pocket and like as ammo to use in a swap, you know. And like maybe it just kind of as a wake up call, like, hey, don't trust this guy, but maybe don't vote him out right away. Like, yeah, I think we were kind of talking about this earlier about like a lot of times it's just like it's super easy to want to vote out the person who you hear is gunning for you. And like I feel like sometimes it might be wise to like take a step back and think, hey, is this actually going to benefit me right now if I vote this person out, even though I know they're going for me? Or could I possibly, you know, push that off towards another date? And, you know, there might be a better move for me to make in the long term, you know? So, yeah. But
that was
like,
a good eulogy.
Yeah, but like either way, like I feel like 9 times out of 10, a move like this would have worked. I would have gone out this week. It was just like a very perfect storm of, you know, people telling people, and me. I mean, I'm just to my horn for 2 seconds, playing this very well, and being able to flip him. You know, I feel like most times, you know, we should not be eulogizing Ben right now, and you know, he could have made it a lot further in the season. But yeah, that's how Survivor happens sometimes.
Yeah, speaking of if we ran the game multiple times, let's rank him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. 13th
13.
place.
Unlucky 13.
This is stacked. 13th is pretty
This is
stacked.
very stacked. We have Chloe, number 1, Bailey, number 2, and Lavana, number 3. We have some strong female players up in here currently.
We have such great characters, all 3 of them. All 4 of them, including Ben.
Yeah.
I think we can pretty easily, as much as I love her, put Ben above Lavana. He's gonna run laps around her strategically.
For sure.
Comparing to Bailey,
I think Bailey, Chloe, and Ben all have that spunk when it comes to Survivor.
They do.
And they all can be sassy too. Like honestly, they have like I think them 3 would actually possibly make a good trio.
Yeah,
that'd be a fun trio to watch. That'd be great.
A lot of potential for chaos in that trio.
Oh yeah. I feel like strategically, Ben it's so hard because season 4 Ben, he had like I feel like he had a good strat. If he would have just not been like season 4 like a Ben returnee Ben, if he would have been some completely other person that played the same game that Ben did, I really don't know if he gets voted off here. But like I don't know. Is Ben versus Bailey? Bailey was in power on her original tribe, just like Ben, but she got swapped and got voted off. Versus Ben did not make the swap. Bailey only. The thing is, too, though, Bailey made a lot of enemies very quickly with her gameplay in season 2. I guess Ben also did, but not really by he didn't get pick fights with people though, whereas
Right.
Bailey
Right.
did. Ben kind of just
Right.
had his bad reputation. So like I feel like I can't blame him as much for that as I can blame Bailey for kind of just like getting in fights with Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of hard ranking like for our first time ranking like a returnee against a new players.
Yeah.
And factoring in like this version of Ben versus I don't know. I do actually I feel like this version of Ben is a better player than season 3 Ben, even though he played, his position like he didn't make it as far, but like I feel like simulating 100 times, I feel like this version of Ben does better than season 1 Ben.
I think so.
Honestly, if you're gonna talk about perception too, Ben had a pretty good handle on how he was perceived by everybody in this game versus Bailey. Her perception was very off. Like she thought that like, oh, I'm completely running this tribe on the swaps tribe with Ohana, where she clearly wasn't. And she kind of thought that like Daniel was going after her when really Kevin just made the whole thing up. Like I think that Bailey didn't really have as good of a grasp on what was going on as Ben did. Like Ben, I can't blame Ben too much for what happened near the end as much as I can give credit to Jack for pulling off a really good move. Because like I feel like most people would have fallen for that move just because Jack really pulled it off. Like he was able to lie really well. Like I feel like Ben, I can't knock him too much for that. Like I feel like he had pretty good perception overall.
So are you saying put him above Bailey?
Yeah,
I think so.
I agree with that.
What about Chloe?
Chloe also went out early on her season, but had a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Chloe was pretty social, like had a pretty good social game, but then also again did make enemies. With Savu Savu.
It's true. Plus,
but was like kind of queen of her little tribe.
Yeah,
that's true. Well,
Very
she
similar.
also, I feel like another thing too with Chloe is that she had that alliance with like Ben and Will and Emily P and Brady, but then like Will and Emily kind of just like were obviously on the bottom and figured it out and then flipped. Whereas
so like not good at making them feel safe.
Yeah. Whereas like Ben, like Jack and Camila didn't flip off of Ben because they felt like they were in the bottom. Like you guys flipped because you found out that Ben was gunning for you.
Right.
But I feel like that's all. Like I don't know. I feel like that's a little not as bad of a mistake to make. Because, I don't know. Ben made some other mistakes. Like it wasn't great of him to like tell all those things to Ivy. It probably wasn't the right move to turn on Jack so quickly. I don't know.
But like, I don't know. He had done it. Like I feel like that 4. I don't think any of us were gonna flip that 4, because any of us like if he didn't kind of start the path of it, or if Nate didn't go to him, like I feel like that was a very strong 4 that he was able to make. Like I went into the season, there's the confession of me where I'm like, I went into the season very much not trusting Ben, and he like won me over, like I really trusted him, and like so partially it's probably also on me, as we talked about, for not, maybe I could have trusted him more and blah 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 blah, but I feel like Chloe definitely was good, like was also good socially, like on her like tribe, but also I feel like I don't know if like she was able to like completely, I don't know, make people feel like that they could go super far with her, if that makes sense.
I mean, Cassie didn't really trust her either. If you remember, she kind of was always like, "Oh, Chloe seems sketchy." So, yeah, I think does it sound like you guys are leaning towards Ben in first place over Chloe?
Yeah, honestly, because I think Ben's better at making people feel safe.
Especially this version of Ben. Yeah. I mean, like I had no idea going like, if he didn't, also mess up by telling Ivy or whatever, but like he was I felt completely safe this whole week until I found out from Megan.
Mm-hmm.
I never really thought that I was in danger. I thought that our thing was solid, because it was solid, and then like I didn't really detect a change. Once it wasn't solid, I thought it was still completely good, our force. So yeah,
I also don't want to knock Ben too much for the Ivy thing, because for one, it makes sense that he would want to gain an alliance with her, and two, I don't really think that is the Ivy thing caused him to be voted off, because Megan found out about the plan from Nate, and like the Ivy thing was just kind of another piece to the puzzle. But like, I feel like there's not too many things I can really say from Ben, like, oh, that was an awful move that he definitely should not have done. Like, I can kind of understand why he did everything that he did.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think he got unlucky a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like,
all right.
So yeah.
Ben number one. Wow, Ben number one. I was not expecting that, but I'm liking it. It's the first time that a season 4 person has been first place in these rankings.
Really? Yeah.
Ben number one, Chloe number 2, Bailey number 3, and Lavana in 4th place. She is. Ben and Lavana are separated, sadly, but at least they share 13th place with each other.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, maybe she was mind controlling Ben into sharing their placement.
Oh, Lavana's really out here working overtime.
Yeah.
Wow. It's true. It's true cause of Ben's blindside. It wasn't Jack, it wasn't Megan, it wasn't Camila, it wasn't Ivy, it wasn't Jackson. It was
Lavana.
Yeah, Lavana was jealous that Ben got cast over her. So
it wasn't even Matthew disguised as Matt. It was Lavana.
It was Lavana disguised as Matthew, Israel disguised as Matt.
Oh, wow. That's still too perfect. I like that. All right. Well, we'll have some a lot of fallout from this tribal council to discuss next week, so that'll be fun.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, another really, really fun episode coming up. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited to watch it.
Hey.
All right.